Okay, so while we're waiting here to get up to speed, and for the folks out there to confirm whether or not they're hearing us, if everything's streaming through loud and clear, I want to remind everyone to go to hankstrange.com, sign up for the email list over there. It's a great way to keep in touch with us, figure out all the things that we're getting up to. You can also get the Hank Strange patches on hankstrange.com. So just be on the lookout for that. Lola also shares deals and all that kind of good stuff over there. So go seek that out. Follow it. Sign up for it. When we give things away and everything, we do it through the email list itself. All right, that said, I want to thank Franklin Armory for being our sponsor tonight. I want to remind everyone out there to smash those thumbs ups and ring the bell. Share this podcast if you can. I'm going to press the open. There goes the open.
Welcome back to the Hank Strange Situation.
Boom!
Lifestyle.
Make sure you subscribe. Thumbs up. Ring the bell, like I said, so you can be notified when we go live. All right, so we've got Gorillas and Guns. He's been here before. And we have Shooting Gallery Annie, who's never been on the show, but he's always here in the chat. You guys know what it is. Let's do the jazz hands. Come on, tough guys. Let's get those jazz hands going. I hope you got your big girl panties on. I hope you got your big girl panties on. This is episode 601 of the Who Moved My Freedom podcast. I'm your host, Hank Strange. As I said, we've got Shooting Gallery Annie joining us, as well as Gorillas and Guns. Gentlemen, what's up? Welcome to the show.
What's crack-lacking?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm chilling with you guys. Yeah, chilling with you guys. This, like I said, so Shooting Gallery, this is your first time, man. How does it feel? Does it feel awesome?
Yeah, it does, man. It's real humbling. I appreciate you having me on.
Oh, no, absolutely. It's my pleasure, man. What I'd like to do here is to be able to support the other people in the gun community that need my support. So I'm happy to have you guys back here. Gorillas and Guns, what's up with you?
Just the same old, just trying to break out of the state of tyranny down here in Virginia,
Oh, yeah. That's unfortunate that Virginia, of all places, is being known for the tyranny. Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of it here lately.
Yeah, that's what you get out of Governor Blackface there. That's how that goes down. So first here, to everyone in the chat, let me share with you guys. Here's Shooting Gallery Annie. This is what his YouTube channel looks like. You folks need to go over there and smash the subscribe button on his channel. Check out his videos, etc. He's got some videos on there, and he could use your support checking that out. And as well as here is Gorillas and Guns. This is what his page looks like. You should also go over there, check it out, show your support, and check out all the videos he has going on. Are you throwing up? Are you still throwing up videos here on a regular basis, Gorillas and Guns, or what's the deal?
Yeah. I've been putting out at least one a week. I've been using that community tab quite a bit since I got it now.
Okay.
But only I'll do 1 to 2 videos a week.
Okay, 1 or 2 a week. Okay, cool. How's the community tab thing working out? I haven't really. I've been looking into it, but I haven't really jumped all the way in there. So.
It's not too bad. I mean, I'm not getting huge responses out of it or anything, but I mean, it's a way to get some stuff out there as well. So, I see Clover Tack out there.
Yeah. Shout out to Clover Tack.
Being so sexy.
Yeah, he says, Clover Tack says, I love Joe. He's so sexy. Gorillas and Guns is too, by the way. He's just throwing that in there. As for Hank, I could take him or leave him. I'm thankful of that.
All right, hell yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate that. You guys could go rock on over there for Clover Tack.
It's making me blush.
Yeah.
That's going to be an interesting after-hours chat next time I go on there.
Yeah, if the little green van is rocking, don't come and knock it. Shout out to Clover Tack and everyone else out there. I see John Crump is out there. John Crump says that that they won a victory. He says 18 to 20-year-olds are not required to go through a background check for a private sale. Okay. He's in Virginia. He's in your neck of the woods, G&G. So.
Yeah, actually, me and John talked quite a bit. I've been on his show a few times. Yesterday, we were actually in a kind of like a conference call talking about some of the stuff that's going on around here. It's like a little Virginia GOA group that got going on. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's see. And then Clover Tech's chiming in here about the let's see what he's saying. Something about the community tab. Let's see what he says. The community tab is awesome for engagement, but sadly most people don't know it exists to use it, creators or viewers. Yeah. There you go. It takes time to adapt over to all these different things going on here. So, yeah. So listen, we've got Shooting Gallery on here for the first time. So let's start with him. Do you want to break it down to the folks out there, who you are, where you are, what kind of stuff you get up to?
All right, sure. Well, my name is Joe. I run Shooting Gallery New England on YouTube. I'm on Gunstreamer, Full 30, and pretty much everything, any type of social media. I am a graduate of Sonoran Desert Institute, so it's kind of prompted me to really get into guns. Guns pretty much saved my life, man. I was kind of going nowhere years and years ago, and a friend of mine was like, "Hey, do you want to come shoot some guns?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I've always been into firearms. I kind of grew up in a very not anti-gun house, but like my parents weren't into them. I still make the joke that my dad is like not really cool with guns. So it was kind of shocking to him when I kind of got really into the hobby. And then I realized, all right, this is what I want to do with my life. I want to work in the firearms industry somehow, whether it be at a manufacturer or whatever it is. And I kind of went full force into it. Then recently, about a year ago, I started the channel just because it's what I wanted to do, somehow to get my name out there. And blossomed into this wonderful channel that I have so much fun doing now. Okay. And
so do you work in the industry and you're doing the channel?
No, okay. I don't work in the industry. I was a interior and exterior painter for about 10 years, and then recently I was a car salesman. And then I don't know if you guys have ever been to a car dealership.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I was really good at sales. I sold Jeep, Ram, Chrysler, just stuff like FCA. I was really good at it, and then this Wu-Tang ain't none to F with virus happened, and I was like, wow, I had enough time to really think what I want to do. And when I graduated from SDI, I was like, I want to work in the firearms industry, and I don't really want to be a car salesman. I'm tired of people screaming at me because they're getting a bad interest rate. Car sales are for some people, but it's not me. I'm too nice, I think. That was my biggest issue. And I was just like, yeah, man, thank God I have a savings saved up, and I'm just taking this time now to really focus on my channel and just try and work the best I can to get into the industry.
Okay. All right. That's I completely understand that. And by the way, I've had to deal with FCA dealerships. I have a Ram Rebel, and
I'm jealous.
I enjoy the Ram Rebel. I am not a fan of the dealerships. I gotta say that.
Yeah, I made some good friends, and it's like one of the first times where like I didn't like despise my manager, and like I don't know, I learned a lot of sales, and I sold some good cars. I got to test drive some like amazing cars, but yeah, I kind of had a mental breakdown, to be quite honest, and I was like, I'm not going back to the dealership. I'm not doing it. And funny story, I got offered a job at 6 Hour. I'm in Massachusetts, so 6 hours is only like an hour and a half away. I'm like, all right, hun. Told the wife, listen, this is what we're gonna do, and I'm not telling her any of this stuff that's going on in my life. So I'm like, my feelings on not going to the work, like not wanting to go to work and stuff like that, and it just came down to, well, I can't afford an apartment during the COVID, so I was like, all right, I'm not gonna go back to the dealership. So right now I'm just kind of doing my thing and just loving my channel right now.
Yeah, listen, if that's what you want to do, just get all the way in there. If you still want to get a job in the industry, it helps. It helps to do this kind of stuff, and I think there'll be opportunities. I don't know if all the folks out there are hiring, but I know people are trying to ramp up production because there's an increased demand right now. So there may be some hiring going on out there. Yeah. You never know. Let me get this comment in from Flying Rich. He gave us a couple of bucks. He says, Hank, I'm jealous. You never post my channel. That's nonsense. Okay, I'm always promoting you and Pebbles and all the stuff that you do. But, you know, it's not about you, Rich. It's not about you. So next time you come on, Rich, I will make special sure, if I'm sure you'll remind me. I'll make sure to promote your channel on there. And Pebbles. So Gorillas and Guns, maybe refresh the folks out there if they haven't. We haven't had you on here in a while. You are in the chat from time to time. What have you been up to here lately?
Well, I've been up to a bunch of stuff, really. I've built a AR finally for my first time, and I gotta tell you, I love the heck out of it. Been tinkering with a lot of repairs on firearms and stuff. Never had any formal training. I'm just, I guess, mechanically inclined. So got some videos out on that and a few more coming out. Yeah, mostly everybody knows me. I've been down here in the fight for our rights in Virginia here, joining up with John Crump and the GOA and the Virginia Citizens Defense League. And, we're trying to push these, tyrannical laws out of here and get old Governor Blackface Baby Killer the heck out of office. So
yeah, everyone should be activated in Virginia, man. There's a lot of stuff going on over there. For that matter, we should all be activated all around the country, here in Florida, everywhere. We need to keep up with these guys, man. And around times like this is when they always try to sneak things in.
Oh yeah, for sure. Especially our backs are turned or our attention's somewhere else. Yeah,
we're not paying attention to that. By the way, let's see. Shoot, Drive, Live says, "What up, Shooting Gallery? Look at you on Hank Strange. Hank won't answer my DMs. Laugh out loud." But there's a cry face. The cry face is on there too. I don't know if Shoot, Drive, Live is DMing me somewhere, but you know what? I go on social media very briefly. So if you're sending me messages through social media, I don't know. You're gonna have to send me messages through the phone number. We get the phone number out all the time. That's everywhere. You can get in touch. Hit me up on the phone number. If you want to come on the show, you got to talk to Lola. Lola's the boss of that, right, guys? You guys had to talk to.
Yep.
I'm not allowed to put people on the show. Okay. Because I get shouted at. I get screamed at because I just, if I find someone, then Lola's like, I already figured out who's coming on the show. Shut up. Then.
Is that?
Yeah.
Do you still have the bag of balls?
Yes, I do. What are you trying to insinuate?
I'm just saying, you still got just one bag, just one sack.
I mean, we haven't seen you play with your balls in a while.
So you guys, oh boy.
Yeah, you're gonna have to.
Since you want to see my balls, Lola, they asked to see the balls. Lola, this is not me. It's not me doing it. Boom! There we go. Got balls for everybody. Keep these around. Not like I need like extra, nutacular, fortitude. Nutacular fortitude. I don't know if that's the best way to put it. Yes, Lola says stay on topic. Well, there is no topic, Lola. There's no topic. I'm just checking in with these guys to see what's going on with them, see what's up in the chat. Let's see what else we have going on here. If there's anyone that you guys know and that deals with you guys all the times in the chat, let me know so I can shout them out. Let's see who. Go ahead.
There's quite a few people out there that I know that come by the channel quite often. So
yeah. Bethany Delaney says, so happy to finally see Shooting Gallery Annie on the podcast. One of his biggest accomplishments. Man,
that's actually my wife.
Yeah, I figured. I was about to say, because if your biggest accomplishment is getting on here, you need to.
Yeah, I think I climaxed early. Just I'm there now.
Yeah. I think your image is frozen, but we can hear you though.
I don't know why I noticed that. I'm not that technologically savvy, so.
Yeah, that's cool. Something going on with the internet. I don't know. Or okay. There you go. Boom, you're back.
Yeah, I fixed it.
Yeah, and Rondell Stewart says, Gorillas and Guns, I love bananas.
Yep, everybody loves bananas. They come to my channel.
Yeah. Jay Loafers, says Hank needs to juggle his balls. No, no, that is too much. That is
T-shirt.
across the line, sir.
You got to put that on a T-shirt.
Yeah. So, all right. Listen, but like I said, if you guys can go to their channels, check them out, and support them, that'll be good stuff. So, let's see. Like, tell us, shooting gallery. What kind of guns are you into? What's your favorite stuff? What's your favorite gun?
Well, man, anything that pretty much goes bang. I'm not a big revolver guy. Never was really. I got like a couple of revolvers that I have, but anything that's semi-automatic, I'm in Mass, so it's difficult to get into like the fun stuff that everyone likes shooting.
What's the rules? What's the rules in Massachusetts lately, man? It used to be a good gun place back in the days. What's the rules out there nowadays?
Well, it's the part of my French, sir, but it's kind of a shithole, to be quite honest. Oh
boy.
You can't. Very draconian style.
Oh, you're going in and out. I'm not sure what's up with that.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Am I coming in good now?
Yeah.
So we're under a tyrannical rule from the Attorney General, Maura Healey. She is the definition of a tyrant. Out of a strike of a pen in 2016, she enacted an assault weapons ban, which means you couldn't have ARs, AKs, pretty much anything fun. We have magazine capacity bans. We have red flag laws. We have age limits on firearms. It's pretty much the East Coast side of the East Coast California, I like to call it. It's you're behind the Berlin Wall over here, but we find ways to get into guns. Bullpups are real big here because for some reason Maura Healey doesn't know what a bullpup is. So RDBs, the Tavors, the Tavor 7s are just coming in now. A lot of bullpups are big. Well, we can get pre-ban 94 rifles, so like post-Clinton assault, pre-Clinton assault weapon era rifles. The thing is, they're bringing up a premium in price.
Yeah, that sends up the value.
It's capitalism. Like, we can't do anything about it because it's a supply and demand type of thing. But there are certain dealers like JC Arms. I actually just did a full build series. He is a local guy, local manufacturer, and he's making fixed mag AR-15s. The strip lower receivers. He just made the AR-10 lower receivers that are fixed mag for 10-round capacity. It's pretty much you have your bolt release and your magazine release. There's a pin that's drilled through the middle of it to hold the mag in place. We got companies like that. But again, some local FFLs are stepping up and they're trying to bring in a lot of the pre-ban stuff for us to have, whether it be AKs, ARs. I just saw one shop that had like a Sterling AR-180. I was like, oh man.
Yeah. So that's weird. I don't know if you've heard of that, Girls and Guns. I didn't know if you realized that you can actually have bullpups there, even though you can't have all these other things. So far as new guns, how does that happen? How does that like? I'm glad it got by them. I'm just wondering how. Just one of those things.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. Ironically, a Smith & Wesson M&P Sport, the 22, the M&P 1522, that is a full-blown functioning AR. I don't care what you say. It's just in 22. That is mass compliant, but a full like a M&P 15 isn't mass compliant. I don't know how that works, but you can't question it.
Okay.
I mean, the people of mass, we try and rally together. We try and get our voices heard, but unfortunately, it's a very left blue state. There are true patriots here. It's ironic because this is the place where liberty was started. The American Revolution was started in Boston, and for a place that has all that lineage of freedom and patriotism, it's probably one of the worst states when it comes to actually being able to be free.
Yeah. It's just a weird thing. Go ahead. Did you want to say something, G&G?
Yeah, I was gonna say I lived there. I grew up in Massachusetts, and I seen the progression, because I grew up there. I was alive in the 70s and 80s. I mean, I'm showing my age a little bit, but I definitely seen the progression of the state changing, and not for the better, that's for sure. The area I lived in was just terrible, riddled with crime, and I mean, what more can you say when you see a place that was mostly peaceful and clean turn into a shithole riddled with crime? I mean,
Yeah. By the way, I see Walter's out there in the chat. He says, "What is this?" Walter says, "Just saw a Joe Biden campaign ad. Climate change? ? Really? That's all he has."
was he staring blankly at the camera?
Yeah. Yeah.
You have that look of just like you're waiting for the drool to kind of start dribbling down his cheek.
Yeah. So yeah, that's an interesting thing. I need to look more into that. I'm guessing that in Mass there's a ban list or something like that. Is that how they're doing it? Through a list?
There's two lists. So there's the approved roster list, and then there is the super secret attorney general list that not a lot of people know about. So for instance, Glocks, they're on the approved roster list. You can't buy a Gen 5 Glock in Massachusetts unless you're you're an LE or military or something like that. But there's certain ways that you can go around it. Like certain places are able to sell serialized frames that are like Gen 3s, and you can build it up from there. That's how I was able to build my 19. Or you get a pre-ban. Like I have my everyday carry is a Gen 2 Glock 20, and that's a pre-ban before the 94, obviously.
Okay.
So
is it Guns and Gadgets in Mass or no?
Yes, he is. I actually met him. I actually got a funny story about that.
Okay.
I recently just met Jared from Guns and Gadgets at a rally that a lot of Pro 2A activists were throwing on. I have a video up on my channel of one part of his speech that he gave at the rally. So I met him and I saw him and I'm like, oh, that's Jared from Guns and Gadgets. I've been watching him for years. So I looked like the biggest, I fanboyed out, and I was just like, hi Jared, I'm Joe from so-and-so. And he's just like, hey man, what's up? And like, I just paused for a second, and it was the most awkward interaction I could ever experience. I gave him my card like a schmuck. I'm like, oh, you want to get you on the podcast? Definitely. He's like, yeah, thanks man, cool. Like, we just kind of like parted ways.
Did you almost faint or something? I don't know what to say.
No, I just stumbled upon my words because I was like, I don't know why, but it just was like, oh, I'm just gonna walk away now. That's really
Jared's
awkward.
cool. He's pretty easygoing.
Yeah, but it was really cool. It was like the first rally I actually ever went to, and I met a lot of people there, and saw a couple local FFLs and stuff like that, and it was really cool. Plus, when Jared gave this wicked awesome speech about kind of like, hey, let's get Massachusetts great again in guns and stuff like that. So this is right after he made like a autonomous zone, whatever they're calling it now, Chaz, whatever the hell they're calling it. So he made a video about that, and like he had a couple death threats given to him. So he had 2 security guards. You can see in the video, these guys look like they were just off that set from 12 Strong. Like they were like jacked up dudes. And I'm like, I don't want to get these guys in the camera. They might kill me. Like they just looked like they would just F you up.
Yeah, Clover Tax says Joe told me that he threw his underwear at Jared. That's how excited he was.
So that's
so let me just say this. That's one of the bad, I don't know if it's good or bad or whatever, but the one thing about this, there's no fangirls. It's all fanboys. You know what I'm saying? Or very few. I don't ever run into anyone, any of the ladies out there like, oh my God, Heck Strange is so awesome. It's all dudes. And it's all big, gorilla, hairy looking like. Yeah. It's all dudes.
Got the beard. Yeah. That was another key point of not working at the dealership. I can actually have my beard back. I was all baby face, clean shaven for months, and I had to wear like beards and dress clothes and stuff like that. And I'm like, this isn't me.
So David B. Kill says he got to meet Mac and did the same thing. Laugh out loud. Yes. It's such a weird thing, right? I don't know. I think about that from time to time. I'm like, it's awesome that people recognize me. They look at my stuff when they see me out there like, oh, Heck Strange, that's great, right? But, I'm waiting for the hot chicks to come along and be crazy. No, it's never gonna happen. Never. Lola, she's like, yeah, that's never gonna happen. Good luck with that. You know, it's all dudes. Just enjoy. Just enjoy it. So
if I'm throwing my underwear, man, that's gonna be like a flag. I take like a 4X, man. I'm a
please,
big
dudes, don't throw your. Yeah, don't do it. Don't do it. Let's see.
I don't wear any underwear. So
you don't wear.
Okay, now we're there.
Okay, it's getting bad. It's getting bad. DC2 Megaboo says the problem with masks is that Boston politics controls all of the towns. My town is very pro-gun, so.
Yep, that's 100% correct. I'm on the South Shore, kind of near Plymouth, where the Pilgrims landed. If you're in a very like almost metropolitan area, it's very left-leaning, and pretty much all the politics come out of Boston. So we had a guy that's running for Senate now. His name's Jay McMahon. He is a rock star. I actually met him at that rally, and he was like a genuine dude. And he's running against, not to mention, we not just have Maura Healey as Attorney General. We have, I think his name's Ed Markey and Elizabeth Warren as our senators. So that's also another, they're very anti-gun, they're, deep state. So we have Jay McMahon, who he was running against Maura Healey in 2018, I think, whenever the midterms were. He had all the outside areas covered. But the thing is, Maura Healey, what she did, she went to the inner cities, Boston, New Bedford, all these like kind of left-leaning cities, and was buying the votes essentially. So he didn't have a snowball chance in hell. So now he's going against Elizabeth Warren, which I think he has a little bit much more of a chance because, ironically, Elizabeth Warren, who is a senator in Massachusetts, she didn't even win the Democratic primary for president in the state that she allegedly runs for.
I think, and feel free to jump in here, Silverback. I think that, look, I think that Democrats just run a better organization, and Republicans are just way behind the curve on everything and are not aggressive enough. They don't reach out enough on social media. They don't stand up enough. They're trying to be like some kind of, I don't know, better version than Democrats or something. It's just they bend too much to Democrats. And I think that there's the people out there know better than this, but they're just not reaching out to them in the right ways. What do you think?
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. I mean, the Democrats, they come organized. When they set their sights on something, they focus in and they attack. And the Republicans, and I've been saying it right along, they have been sitting back far too quiet for far too long, especially now that all this stuff is going on right here. I haven't really heard any Republicans standing up and saying much. I mean, the last time I heard something was out of Nick Freitas, and that was the speech he gave at, I think it was a Senate meeting or something quite a few years back. And that was really the last thing I heard from any Republican.
I think they're scared. And they're intimidated, and they think whatever they say is going to be taken and twisted. I mean, if you just look at the lashes that Trump, for example, gets from the media, I think a lot of those guys are just like, oh, we can't stand up and say anything. And you have to get over that, and you have to stand up and speak. I mean, and push back against a lot of this stuff that's going on and stop worrying about that. Because either you can't just sit there and wait for people to come to you and vote for you and take those votes for granted, while you're getting your ass kicked by Democrats. That's one of the problems that we have out there. So,
yeah, I kind of think that they're sitting back and waiting because they're thinking, okay, well, finally the Democrats might expose themselves and everybody will just come running to us.
That's laziness. That's laziness.
That is 100% laziness.
Yeah.
If they're saying like, oh, we're just sitting back and waiting for them to realize, like, I'll admit the left has definitely shown their true colors on a wide variety, not just firearms. They've, gun rights, they've been flat out on it open. That we're trying to take your guns, red flag laws, all that stuff. But I don't even recognize myself as a Democrat, Republican, libertarian. I'm more of a constitutionalist, where the Constitution is the law of the land, and there's no discrepancy there. There's nothing to interpret.
Yeah. What's the name of your governor again?
Charlie Baker, who
Charlie
is
Baker.
allegedly he's a Republican.
Yeah, so
only in
so he's on the Republican thing. What has he done for the Second Amendment in Massachusetts?
He's done absolutely nothing.
Mm-hmm.
He had every opportunity to tell Maura Healey to cut this out. It was complete illegal. It's illegal what she did.
Mm-hmm.
You know, by a stroke of a pen, she says overnight all these FFLs are no longer to sell any current production AR-15 or black rifle pretty much. And he had every opportunity to say, no, you didn't do it the right way. You didn't do it through the courts and stuff like that. And he's flat out supported it. He is also the main reason why red flag laws are a thing in Massachusetts, along with here's another thing that everyone's kind of like mad at him for, vaping. Massachusetts now has a vaping ban. I'll admit, I used to vape. I smoked for years, and I used the vape thing to quit smoking. And they originally did a 3-month ban where you cannot get any vapor products, which that's false, because I'm telling you right now, there's a lot of people I know that ran vape shops, and hey, whatever we're all adults. We have the right to put stuff in our bodies, but at the same time, when we're of age and we're adults enough to make that choice, it's the same thing with gun bans. Like it takes the human element to use that. So 3-month closure of all vapor product stores. Then now they have a flavor ban where now you can't get menthol cigarettes, nothing flavored, because they're saying the vaping community is reaching out to children, which no, it's not. So he was a staunch supporter of that. So to be quite honest, I don't know. I think I will hopefully be able to vote him out. It's just getting people to the polls, which always has been our problem, whether it be getting people to the polls for, shooting down gun bans and red flag laws and whatever it is. It's just getting them out there and getting them educated.
Yeah. Did you want to say something here, G&G?
Yeah, I mean, last time I was up in Massachusetts, I think that's when they started that whole vaping thing. I mean, even my wife's doctor, she vapes. He told her that was way better for her than smoking cigarettes. So I don't understand where the logic comes from, but really, when it all boils down to it, when they ban something, it's not about whether they care about your rights or not. They just want to know they have you under control. That's it.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me get this in. Daniel, God is my judge, says Silverback is my hero. We were speaking about, he says I saw him in the chat waiting for you, man. I think you got in here. He wanted to chat with you before we got in here. Do you know Daniel?
I know Daniel very well. He's my tan man right now.
I don't know what that means.
He's got this thing going on with another YouTuber that we all know, the Battle Bean, Mario Mosen, and Mario. He's obviously Battle Bean. He's Mexican, and Daniel said he could get darker than him within a couple weeks' time. So this Sunday coming up, when we get back on the Crazy Scotsman's podcast, we're gonna have a tan off and see who wins. Mario, he's been sitting in the shade not doing anything, but Daniel, he's been out gardening and mowing the lawn and playing with his potatoes, so he's getting there.
Playing with his potatoes, is that code for something?
No, literally, it's potatoes.
Oh, okay, all right. I can see that you guys are bored. Obviously, there's obviously a level of boredom here when those kind of games start getting pulled out. Let me get this in from Appalachian Gun Runner. He says, "I like what Rand Paul said. He's both a constitutional conservative and a libertarian conservative. I combine them for a constitutionalist libertarian." So there you go. It's a tough deal, man. That's just going around the country. We had stuff like that going on here in Florida with Republicans here, governor all the way down, giving up 2A rights here in Florida. And then he got rewarded. He got sent off to the Senate, and people rewarded him for that, Nothing's going to change if these guys don't lose, if they don't get held accountable for what they do. you know, and people don't really fight back unless they feel that there's someone up there. It's like that, you know, there has to be someone they see, I think, as an enemy. We see that a lot now with what's going on with Trump being in office. A lot of people are just taking it easy because they're like, oh, Trump's there, everything's going to be fine. They're not going to take away any gun rights from anyone. So, you know, and meanwhile, that's happening.
Look at the bump stock ban.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
in Massachusetts, it's actually considered a life sentence if you get caught with a bump stock. When it was a statewide, you have to turn them in or destroy them. Only like one was turned in, maybe two. And I know personally, I know a few people that have them, and it's like, how could you give a life sentence for a piece of plastic?
Yeah, so they gave a life sentence for that?
I'm pretty sure
Okay.
it's at least 25 years in prison
Mm-hmm.
if you get caught with a bump stock,
Mm-hmm.
like almost life
Mm-hmm.
sentence.
Okay. Yeah.
But I think 25 years is considered a life sentence, isn't it?
I'm not sure where life starts. Someone will have to let us know out there. You know, I've heard stuff to life, like 20 to life, 30 to life, 50 to life.
I thought it was 18 in life.
Yeah.
Oh, that was Skid Row.
Oh.
Such a good song. That came on the gym today, and I was like, I don't know if you guys are like into like, you know, treadmill stuff, but I was on the treadmill today, and that song came on, and I have to stop myself because I want to just belt out that song whenever it comes
That's
on.
an old 80s song, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Skid Row. Okay. Mm-hmm. Razor JB says Daniel's already darker than Mario. We're not even midweek. There you go. And Daniel says once Mario loses, Hank, you're next. Okay. I'm not necessarily in that, but okay. And Alabaster Figueroa says, I don't like playing with my potatoes all by my lonesome, but someone has to do it. So there you go. There you go. Listen, let's go to a couple of news things going on here. Let's do that. I shared this one with both of you guys. Let me see if I can pull it up here real quick. So you guys know about the McCloskeys, right?
Yeah.
Over in
Yep.
St. Louis. And I was looking at Johnny B. I was checking out his channel earlier, and I saw this. So former McCloskey attorney hands over gun during search warrant. Okay, so obviously they went there, they seized these guys' rifles, but they were looking for this pistol that the wife was holding during this whole thing that went down. The interesting part of this is that this pistol is not actually working. So let's see. I'm gonna try to find where it says. See, the attorney says he had been given possession of the couple's handgun. It was used as an exhibit in court following the incident, and that it was not dischargeable. It says Watkins and Patricia McCloskey knew, or Watkins said that Patricia McCloskey knew the gun was not operable when she pointed it with her finger on the trigger at protesters. This is a quote. It's the intimidation factor that she could use in the act of self-defense, Watkins says. The day after the search warrant was executed, Watkins says he gave the gun to authorities after collaborating with the couple and their defense counsel. Okay, I do not know that steps were taken to render it safe and acceptable to use an exhibit in the state and federal court. He says, I do know that steps were taken to render it safe and acceptable to use as an exhibit in state and federal court. I believe that there's some kind of, that's what Johnny was saying, that there's a lawsuit. So these guys are lawyers, right? So, and they sue people, as is about to happen to them. You know, they sue people, so they're obviously involved in some kind of firearms case. Maybe they're suing a firearms manufacturer. I think that's what he was saying. Johnny contends that that's a Jimenez. I don't know. It looks kind of like a Walther to me. I don't know. Right? It could be a Jimenez. I've never seen a stainless steel Jimenez, but what do I know?
They're out there. I know from what my research, because I'm actually like really into those type of guns. Johnny actually calls me, gives me a little bit of crap for that because I like that's the beauty of being into guns and stuff like that. You get to have passions for different types of platforms and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Those like Ring of Fire guns and Saturday Night Specials, they're just interesting to me, you know. And what I'd like to know is why I'd like to know first off the like PSA's upstate and sales, because everyone's going to want a 20-inch AR platform now because of that. Also, why do they feel that they need to confiscate that?
I think them bringing charges against these guys is mostly political. I think at this point that no one got hurt. You know, the protesters went around about their business. No one on that side or on their side got hurt. So I think they should just let go of it. It's obviously a political thing. You know, the interesting thing is in this is that she went out there with a gun that she knew was inoperable, and she was trying to intimidate these guys. That's weird, you know. So I mean, I've already said what I had to say on this thing. Got into a whole big kerfuffle with Walter over it that you guys could see out there. DC2 Megaboo says this: geez, that's dangerous shit out of luck if someone in the protest brought out a real one. I mean, once again, like I said, she's moving away from... Now, her husband's gun was real, right? She moved away from her husband, who had the real gun, which they're supposed to know that, and she's going towards those people. So, yeah, someone out there could have had a real gun. Someone out there could have gone for her gun. She wouldn't have been able to do anything because she didn't have a real gun, apparently. And now she would have been in those people's clutches while he's over there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What would he do if she's over there, like, struggling with someone, and she went all the way over there acting like a badass? She didn't even have a real gun.
Right, and he didn't even look like he had any training himself. So, you know, who knows what could have.
Don't mention the T word. Don't mention the T word. Walter could still be out there and throw a fit right now. You know, because we're talking about the T word. I'm pretty sure somewhere in the training stuff they talk about not, like, don't bring an inoperable gun to a gunfight. There's probably something about that, but...
Or not flagging everybody. You know, the amount of flagging, I forget her name, I just call her Karen. The amount of flagging that Karen was posting around was more than a FIFA World Cup match, man. It's, you know... But what I think everyone's forgetting to realize is that these protesters broke down the gates of a private community. So they technically, it's not like they have to wait, you know, be 10 feet off the property. They own that whole road. It's a gated community, private community. So technically, they're within their right. That's exactly what the Second Amendment is for, is protecting, you know, they do have a castle doctrine.
Right.
But...
Without a doubt, I think those people are within their rights, right? Without a doubt, I think it's, you know, I think it's a bad thing here that they're, you know, that this all's going to happen. There's so many weird things as this story unfolds. So, for example, there's a lot of manufacturers out there offering to give them guns to replace their guns, right? This always happens. This always happens. I wonder how those manufacturers feel that these people are lawyers who are suing other manufacturers. I wonder if they feel any differently about that, right? You know, maybe not. Maybe they don't care that some other manufacturer is getting sued by these people. Maybe there's some kind of irony in this whole thing, because that's the thing about this gun that was inoperable. They were using this as evidence in a case where they're suing a firearms manufacturer, right? So I wonder if people are really putting all of that together and thinking about this, like, you know.
In the fact
is it me? Am I crazy?
No, you're not crazy, Hank. That makes a lot of sense. But also is that what was the guy carrying? An AR-15 with a 30-round magazine. If that guy walked out there with an M1 Garand, the media would be singing a completely different tune. But also, that's the biggest proponent of, hey, that's why you need a 30-round magazine. I don't know if the media. You guys, do you really think they would have? What do you think about that, G&G? You think they would have? It would have been a different story if he went out there with a Garand instead, or was it the big bad black rifle that made this so juicy?
At this point, especially being that they were rich people.
Oh, that's such a crime. Yeah.
The most
to the media, that is a crime. Rich white people.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, and I think that's what has most to do with it at this point, because they were rich people, standing up for themselves against the protesters, against the people who are the poorer ones, the ones that are supposed to be outspoken right now, because everybody in the media and on the Democrat side is so far behind these protesters right now that it's ridiculous. I mean, all the protesters have wedgies because they're shoved so far up their butts. But now, if it was just a normal neighborhood, you've seen these videos where the guy came driving through a crowd of protesters. They started attacking his car. One of them tried to reach in and he shot the protester. That guy's not getting charged with anything. He actually shot somebody in the protest, So, but he's not a rich white person was at a mansion, trying to stop protesters from being on a property.
Right. I'm not sure exactly where that happened and what all the things are. And if he's driving peacefully through there and people attack him, he's well within his rights, regardless of where it is, to defend himself. And I think these guys were within their rights to defend themselves. It's just look, we're going to have fun with this story no matter what, right? As the story unfolds, I think it became a big thing is because he was out there and the way he was dressed, the way she was dressed, that he's standing out there with a gun, he's Tony Montana, from the country club or something like that, and and part of this whole thing is her being all badass out there with the crowd, but she was just totally fretting, right? I mean, it was not real. If someone would have taken that seriously and gone after her, she would have been in big trouble, so it wasn't all real. I don't know if that's going to have any difference in these people who want to persecute them. I don't know if they're going to go, oh, the gun wasn't real, we'll just drop it, or we'll reduce the charges. I think it's all silly. I don't think there should be any charges against them. I just think there's some heavy irony, right? Or something that we should at least stop and think about in the fact that her gun was not real and that these people were out there suing, what they did for a living was suing firearms manufacturers. I saw someone say it here. For them personally, I think they're Democrats, all that kind of stuff, right? So they don't even consider themselves gun people. And let's take that and just go a little further with that. Let's say, I don't know what they were doing with the AR if they're not gun people, but there's lots of people out there who are anti-gun that have guns, right? So here's these people making money, suing firearms manufacturers. Something happens, they get scared. They're like, oh, let's grab the fake gun. There's just a lot in there, man. There's a lot in there that makes that really, really funny to me. So.
Oh yeah, it's very funny. I mean, they're probably the kind of people that are afraid of guns, but they have some guns because they know what's going on in the world.
Yeah.
But like you said, she's probably super afraid of guns, which is why she grabbed the
fake
inoperable one, right? So she could stand there and be like, how she was doing it. You know, you could tell it wasn't really in her mind a complete serious situation. The way she's walking around and holding herself.
Yeah. And then we're all holding them up as heroes as well. And people in the firearms industry are all like they got offers for 50 rifles to replace that one.
That's the part where I have a hard time when it's calling this couple heroes. I agree with you, Hank, where hey, they were in their right to do it. That's what the Second Amendment was for. But at the same time, it's provoking. You rather not provoke, because again, if this Jimenez, Walther, whatever it is, handgun that she was sporting around, what if someone actually was like, oh yeah, really? And then they whipped out a 9mm and that was a real gun. First of all, that's rule number one: have a real gun, and then also to your point, they are lawyers that are suing gun manufacturers. They are allegedly Democrats, but at the same time they're all these things. But the husband walks out with an AR-15 and a 30-round mag. So it's kind of like I think it's. Call me. Say this is wrong, but it's almost slapping the gun community in the face, being there all these things that kind of is on the negative end of what a lot of people are trying to push on the gun community. But at the same time, he's sporting an AR-15. He's a Democrat that is suing gun manufacturers. So he's clearly probably anti-gun, but it's almost like, what is it? Because you live in a gated community, you think you can get away with holding a Colt AR-15? No. And someone like me, I can't. That's what I have trouble calling them heroes. I wouldn't say they're heroes. It's a whole messy situation. Like, again, they have their right to do what they did, but I wouldn't call them heroes.
There's lots of worlds colliding here, right? There's lots of worlds colliding. I think in our world, and then to some of us, we're kind of like hungry for heroes right now. You know what I mean? We're looking for a win, right? Now, in their world, regardless of who they were, like we said, they're in the right. And in their world, they were scared. And when they were scared, what did they turn to? They didn't wait for the police to come. They turned to, we've got to defend ourselves, right? Atomic Bull says this: their house wasn't burned down or vandalized, and they weren't beaten or killed like others were. Defending their home armed was a great idea. Okay, I could take that. The thing is that things could change, and you want to be really ready. You want to be really ready. If they're fortunate that no one those people in that crowd were really not there for them. And that things didn't go bad. And especially in a situation where if the husband is the one that had the real gun and she had the fake gun, and then she separated and went out there and intimidated people, if someone would have grabbed that from her or whatever, and they all piled on top of her and that got into a situation, what's the husband going to do? Start shooting towards his wife? Because these guys are, doing that kind of a thing. So lots of bad things here are happening, and I think at the end of the day, they should, like, the crowd did what they had to do. These guys did what they had to do. It should just be all, everyone's even and everyone walk away from it. But I don't think that's going to happen here because of politics. And I think we need to just, like, take a look at what's happening and see that there's some weird things happening here. Like this gun being fake. Why was it fake? It was fake because they used it in court cases. What kind of court cases did they use it in? They use it in court cases against the firearms industry. So just want to think about that. That might be something,
Well, can anybody confirm whether his gun was not inoperable or even loaded, for that fact of the matter, during that whole incident?
Well, I don't know about that. I'm going to assume it's real because they came and took the rifle from him.
Right.
Was it loaded or not? I don't know. People aren't ready. Look, do you remember the incident that happened in Texas? I think it was a church shooting, and the guy who responded to that and stopped the bad guy didn't actually have any rounds in his magazine. I think what did he do? He popped in a couple or something like that?
He popped. Time? He ran out just loaded magazines, and he actually had training, technically. Stephen Williford, that would be a better example of an armed citizen who wasn't there but decided, doing the right thing. Knowing what the McCloskeys did was right is debatable. It's kind of a double-edged sword where I think they're in the right for what they did. Then when you really start digging into it, okay, a fake gun, I don't really agree with that. If you're going to point a gun at someone, make sure it's a real gun, because again, you're going to get
in the same trouble if you get into trouble. And if that person comes after you, you got nothing except maybe you could throw it at them, I guess.
Exactly. Yeah. My whole thing is what they did was escalate the situation, and the best thing they should have done is just de-escalate. De-escalating is better. I used to deal with this I was a bouncer for a while. And when it's coming to getting someone out of the bar that is a little bit, clearly has been drinking a lot, they're starting to become argumentative and all that stuff, you don't want to go in there acting like, you're climbing through the roofs, going through WrestleMania. This is, you want to just de-escalate the person and just calmly say, listen, you need to leave.
Mm-hmm.
And they have them match your tone. Mm-hmm. What they're doing is escalating, and they want to de-escalate.
Yeah. Or make sure your stuff is all loaded and ready while you're safely in your home, and you're looking like, okay, are these people coming towards the house? Are they coming? They come in over here, or do I have some time to load up my magazines? And instead of grabbing the fake gun, hey, let's get some real guns. But whatever.
Exactly.
Daniel God is my judge says it all depends on how much life insurance the husband has on her.
Yeah, I definitely think they probably prematurely busted out the guns and came out of the house and started trying to ward off the protesters.
Yeah.
Because protesters, weren't they trying to go to like the mayor's house or something like that lives in that community?
Yeah. Yeah.
So they probably would have just passed right by these people's house if they hadn't have come out there and did what they did.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Plus, he should have had a bullpup.
Well, yeah, especially, this is not Massachusetts. Listen, you know what? I mean, if I was like firearms manufacturers out there, man, I'll be making Massachusetts only bullpups, by the way. Come on.
That's why IWI is like the leader right now. Everyone buys Tavors. I want a Tavor so bad. Like I've shot a Tavor.
They're good
before.
guns. They're good guns, man.
I want I actually want the SR25, the like original Tavor.
Okay.
The X95 is cool, but I like the aesthetically look of the original Tavor. Mm-hmm. So I want one so bad. It's just eating that like $1,800 price point. It's
and then nowadays, everything's coming in at exactly what the price is these days. So, Jason St. Pierre says bullpup drink, and you're gonna have to take a lot of drinks now.
I like bullpups. I'm a huge fan of them. I'll admit the only one I'm not a fan of is the Steyerhawk. I think it's stupid.
Yeah. I didn't know bullpups were such a big thing in Mass, man. My mind is still tripping on that.
And when I say bullpups are a big thing, it's the big three: the Tavors, the Kel-Tecs, and pretty much the Kel-Tec RDB and RFB, the X95, and then from there, I know the Tavor 7 just came on the market at one of the local shops, which I don't know how I feel about 308 bullpups. Steyerhogs are pretty good if you can get them.
I have a 308 bullpup from K&M Arms. It's pretty amazing, actually.
Now, is the recoil is a little bit heavier because it's that compact nature, or no? Or it just hit all the...
It's got a little bit more recoil, obviously, than 223, but I mean, we're big dudes, man. That's for the little skinny babies that wear little extra small shirts. That's not for us big dudes. Don't need to worry about that.
I was talking with I think it was Richard Hughes, or it might have been someone else.
Speaking of little skinny babies, right. Flip flop wearing dudes.
I've been going through this big debate of should I carry the 19 or the 20. The 20 is like my mainstay. I can conceal a 20. Like, I'm a big dude. I got a little bit of a muffin top going on. I can hide bigger guns. Appendix. But the Glock 19, everyone carries 9mm. It's easier to find ammo than 10 mil.
Right.
But at the same time, it is so uncomfortable. It's so uncomfortable to carry. Not the holster. It's the square nature, and plus, it's a weight distribution thing too. So the 10 mil, it's a full size gun. It's a better weight distribution in the front of my pants. I'm
not gonna touch that with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah, I know. You could. Yeah, that sounds so bad. But no,
the weight, baby. It's the weight distribution in the front of my pants.
Yeah.
No. Listen, man. Whatever works for you. Ultimately, like it's right, G&G. I think.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's got to be comfortable. It's got to fit like a good shoe, man. That's what I say.
Yeah, it's for you. Everyone's not going to do the same thing. So, and then when you ask Richard Hughes for advice, just bear in mind he wears flip-flops to the range. So, you want to take advice from him?
Well, Hank, is it flip-flops or is it like socks and mandals? Like
no,
the
flip-flops.
Okay, with the
Flip-flops.
the thing through the front and the big and second toe, like that type of flip
Yes.
flop. Are we talking like Adidas sandals?
No.
Okay.
Flip-flops by the traditional sense of the word flip-flops. Christian Gress gave us $5 here. He says, I think that couple did what they thought they needed to do with the little time they had. Right, wrong, obviously not trained. Glad it ended peaceful. Yeah, I mean, for me, this whole thing, I'm glad that all, like, they're okay. Nothing really terrible happened here. Of course, now, they got it. They became a media sensation. They became memes. And the folks on the left there that have the political power are going to go after them, you know. So I guess, this is how it goes. This is how it goes. And,
Yeah.
and those, ironically to them, I think the biggest thing that's hurting them when I read articles is they feel like they were on the side of those people. They feel like it's their own people going after them and sacrificing them to make a point. I don't know. I don't know if I don't know if I feel terrible about that, but you know, so uh, so let's see. Shooting. Did you want to say something, G and G? I didn't want to cut you off there.
Yeah, I was going to say that I
Mm-hmm.
think definitely in this case there's a lot of virtue signaling going on
Mm-hmm.
towards those people too on that side of things
Mm-hmm.
because when it comes down to it, they have to have a bad guy and they need to punish somebody. So why not punish the somebody that was exercising their Second Amendment
Mm-hmm.
rights? So that's
Yeah.
the way I see it. It's a point they're trying to drive home. Really, they don't care who it was,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just a point they're trying to drive home to everybody.
Yeah.
We're taking that away from you, so that's it.
Yeah. I wish the industry would also like slow down and take some time before they jump in there and start offering people guns, and that goes bad sometimes, man. I mean, I remember when Keltec gave what's his name? They replaced his what was that? His PF9 or something like that. The incident that happened here, Zimmerman. They gave Zimmerman PF9. They replaced it, right? Because it got seized in that whole thing. To me, that whole thing was a perfect storm. I don't think Zimmerman is a hero. I don't think that the kid was some poor little kid and all that kind of stuff. I'm in the middle of that, right? And if Keltec was gonna give him a PF9, just do it quietly. Just go, hey, we're going to mail you a PF9. Here you go. Good luck to you. Hope everything works out. But what they did was they wanted to make a thing about it, at least internally. They invited him down there to get it. They took pictures, which they didn't want any of their people to put out. Guess what happened?
It
It
went on the gram.
it leaked out there. You know what I'm saying? Then the poor kid who sent it to his friend, like, why did you let people take pictures? Then this kid sends it to his friend. His friend leaks it. Now that kid lost his job there. Like, why? Why was all of that even really necessary? Even if you wanted to replace his gun, why did you have to like create heroes when there really wasn't one there? And I think that that's just a situation that happens too often because we're just looking for the viral and everything. So just just a little something to think about there, one to grow on. you know Shoot Drive Live says one problem is the message it puts out to the rioters. Next time, do they believe the gun is fake or empty because of this and move in, and then someone actually gets shot? Bad optics. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know about that. I think you better treat every gun like it's real. I'm just gonna go with training on that, the bad word. Treat every gun that's real. You point a fake gun at a cop, something's gonna happen to you. The case of the guy that in front of the Wendy's, right, where he fought with these cops, took away their stun gun. To me, when I look at that video, that cop, in the heat of everything going on, this guy's running away from him, turns around, and something pops off. You don't know what that is. You know what I'm saying? I don't really. That police officer is gonna lose his career over that thing. But how is he supposed to know what that is? How is he supposed to know in that moment? Okay, maybe the guy took the stun gun and threw it away. All he knows is someone turned around, pointed something at him, and there was a pop that came out of it. You could clearly see it if you're looking at the video. Don't do things like that. If you're running, keep running. I'm not advocating him running. I'm just saying if you're running, keep running. Right?
Yeah,
so
he'd been much better off and he wouldn't have got shot.
yeah. So I think that people should always assume that that's a real gun, that it's loaded, and just think about that. And and the reality is, if someone has the drop on you and they have a gun pointed at you, what you need to, if you can, you need to back off of that situation. And I think when we look at that video, like everyone's saying here, once the protesters saw that, they were just trying to go about their business, and do their thing. So Brick says original Tavors are getting scarce, from my understanding, due to X95 and the fact that the IWI is not going to produce it anymore. Yeah, what's the cheapest Bullpup 223 that's out there?
I think the RDB is the cheapest one.
Is the RDB the cheapest one? That's like, what's an RDB, like 900 or something like that? I think that it's supposed to be 12, right?
Yeah, I've seen them for like $850 at some shops, depending on what it is. And I think they have like that like Scout version that's not like the pistol grip. That goes for a little bit cheaper. I think that's the cheapest one though.
Okay, and then so folks who are getting those Keltec RDBs out there, they're running good, no issues with that.
Well, the big thing is they can take. I can show a magazine, right?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Yeah. I should have thought of that before I grabbed it, but this is a pre-band 30-round Standard mag.
Yeah.
It's detachable. People want detachable mags. Granted, again, these things are like $40 a pop on the market.
So are you saying that those GI mags are okay in mass?
Yeah, they have to be pre-banned. There's like no dates on them. I don't know. It's like this. I explain it like this. When it comes to when I teach firearm safety classes, I tell people, okay, if you're gonna get into guns and this is what you want to do with it. You want to get into high cap mags. Treat Massachusetts firearms law like you're reading a Harry Potter novel. You're gonna go all over. You have to read through every book to get the full story.
Okay, I never heard that one.
I know, but that's the best explanation I can give. Is you have to read every single book.
Right. Okay. So and then in mass, what's up with suppressors? Are those legal? Not legal?
NFA is almost non-existent. I know a few people that have like SBRs and stuff like that, but I don't even think short barrel shotguns are like allowed. Like you're not really allowed to make them. No suppressors. Think of it this: anything fun, can't have it. Like me, I'm like really looking for like a P10C. I'd love to get one. I think it's on the roster, and also high point pistols. You can get the carbines, you can't get the pistols.
Yeah. Okay. Did you want to say something?
10-round mags, right?
Say that again.
The carbines only come with 10-round mags. That's why I think they allow those, right?
Yep.
Kathleen Music Lover says, is it not unconstitutional for stupid people to own guns? Are they the ones that make us look nuts? Yeah, okay. Yeah, listen, you have the right to be stupid. That is definitely, you have the right to be stupid. Now, if you do stupid things, are stupid things going to happen to you?
Win stupid prizes.
Yeah. Vanessa Kitty says, do rioters go to riot training classes? Bloomberg probably has a school for riot training.
Probably does.
Yeah. Good question, though. Good question. Yeah.
Well, I believe Antifa has classes on that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I still think it's funny that that they're still a thing. Like they're the definition of counterinsurgency and homegrown terrorists, but like it's a joke.
Yeah.
It's just a joke.
Yeah. Let's see here. I'm going to go to some other stuff just to flip it up here a little bit. Let's see what. So here's a Reason article that someone sent me. This is interesting. Museum curator resigns after he's accused of racism for saying he would still collect art from white men. What do you guys? You guys qualify as white dudes, right? I mean, you could tell me if I'm wrong here. I'm not, I don't want to be judgy, but you feel like I'm reasonably accurate. So, did he freeze the shooting gallery? Any freeze?
No, I didn't freeze.
Yeah.
I was reading the chat.
Yeah, so it says here, until last week, Gary Garrels was a senior curator of painting and sculpture at a San Francisco Museum of Modern Art. Oh, San Francisco. How you know what? This is so weird.
Yep, that's all you have to say is San Francisco.
I would never expect this. He resigned from his position after museum employees circulated a petition that accused him of racism and demanded his immediate ouster. Gary's removal from SF MoMA, anyway, is non-negotiable, read the petition. Considering his lengthy tenure at this institution, we ask just how long have his toxic white supremacist beliefs regarding race and equality directed his position curating the content at the museum? The accusations that Garrel's choices as an art curator are guided by white supremacist beliefs is a very serious one. Unsurprisingly, it does not stand up to even minimal scrutiny. Yeah, if this guy was the director, he's got to be very liberal. If he lives in San Francisco and he's the director of SF MoMA, the petitioners cite few examples of anything even approaching bad behavior from Garrels. Their sole complaint is that he allegedly concluded a presentation on how to diversify the museum's holdings by saying, "Don't worry, we will definitely still continue to collect white artists." So, I mean, yeah. So you guys tell me what you think about that.
Well, I don't find anything wrong with it. I think, especially in this time of everything that's going on with the whole BLM movement, pushing harder and pushing farther, what are we supposed to do? Just make everything about black? I mean, and nothing can be anything else? So are we
supposed to burn up all the Van Goghs, the Monets, the Picassos? Like, what happens to that stuff? I mean, that's still art. It's still beautiful. People still enjoy. Like, there's artists. It's very simple entry to being an artist, right? You just have to be alive. You have to consider yourself an artist, and you have to create art. I'm just telling you something. Like, I got that from an actual artist that went to school, trained, and all this kind of stuff. And he said, to be an artist, you just have to consider yourself an artist and make art. And there's lots of people from different walks of life, different genders, different racial backgrounds, whatever, that create art. And there's nothing wrong with them. Let's say that they're like, oh, maybe we want to get some more diverse artists in here. But the idea that you just get rid of any art that was created by a white person is, I don't know, insane.
Yeah, so it's kind of like you said before with the whole McCloskey thing. Mm-hmm. Right now, it's all politically driven. Mm-hmm. And why is it politically driven? Because they want that vote, and that's all there is to it. I believe it was Candace Owens that said, once they get your vote, they're done with you. Yeah. They don't need you no more. Yeah. And you're going to be back 100%. To where you were before all this happened. So why you constantly put yourselves through this every time?
Mm-hmm. It's sad. Like it's I think it's the politicians and the media itself that are just pushing this divide. It's a great divide. Like Osprey says it all the time. Most effective devil in America.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's see. Jerry Parker says it's no longer a question of who is racist, it's who isn't racist. But if you decide that you can't have any white artists there, then that's in and of itself racist. Like, what's the definition? Are we just making a race evil and nothing that they do is acceptable? Are we just saying, like, anything that white people do is not acceptable? White males, females, it's not acceptable. We're doing that same thing. And so what happened, like, if you actually allow that could just keep going down, and you could just start, going after other races after that. So the whole idea that, you can't have anything, or a white person can't create art, or this guy, he's just saying, hey, we're going to diversify the art exhibit here, but we're still going to have art from white people, and then they just get all upset and he has to leave. So that's the way it goes.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. DC2 Mega Boost says Candace is right about that. So there you go. Let me see. I'm going to look through for some other things here. I thought that was interesting. Someone sent that to me. It might be my brother Anonymous that sent that one through. And here's another one. This was on The Truth About Guns. Second Amendment Foundation, gun control groups taking COVID PPP stimulus money is appalling. What? The Second Amendment Foundation today said the recent revelation that the Anti-Gun Rights Brady Center to prevent gun violence took a federal paycheck protection loan worth up to $1 million while working to keep gun stores closed is an outrageous exploitation of the COVID-19 pandemic to prevent people from exercising their constitutional rights. The Brady Group reportedly received between $350,000 and $1 million on April 10th. Likewise, the Giffords Law Center to Prevent Gun Violence reportedly accepted a loan worth between $150,000 and $350,000 in April to meet payroll for 16 employees. So, is anyone surprised that they're using our own money to fight against us while they're shutting everyone down?
We had a couple local FFLs tell the government hit the bricks. They shut gun stores and gun ranges down during the initial spread, if that's what you want to call it. And certain shops said, nope, this is my constitutional right. You don't have the right to tell me I can't open business. So pretty much Governor Baker deemed gun shops and gun ranges unessential.
Yeah.
We had a lawsuit here to get the gun ranges back open, and that took some time, and it slowly rolled out as they were trying to go over to phase one of the reopening anyway at that point. So I think Northam made it look like, oh yeah, I'm just doing this because we're trying to reopen Virginia, not because I got my ass sued.
Yeah, exactly. We had a lawsuit here, and we won it. It was a federal lawsuit too, so we set precedent. So they can, God forbid, they can never deem gun shops unessential. Same as gun ranges.
Yeah, but this is crazy, man. That these guys are actually getting money. Jerry Parker says everybody got that money, but the people that needed it, not so much. They didn't get it. So I think that's
I still got my money. I didn't even touch it. I was like, nope, I don't trust this.
So you're saying you got it. You got your Trump money, but you didn't spend it.
Oh, trust me, I wanted to. And ironically, when I got the Trump money, one of my local FFLs had an RDB for sale. And I'm like, oh, man. And my darling of a wife was like, you don't know what's going on, please. And thank God I didn't, because right now I'm just kind of living off my savings anyway, so I don't want to.
Yeah,
glad I didn't spend it.
Yeah, understood. You got guns, right? I mean,
I don't have enough guns,
no,
Hank.
You can never have enough, but.
Yeah, there's always the question of, hey, you got guns, right? Yeah, I have them. Yeah. I don't have enough.
Well, here's the thing, though. If you are starving, your guns won't feed you unless you're using them to hunt. But if they're just sitting there, they're not going to feed you. If you're able to use them to hunt, they could feed you. But I'm just saying.
That's why my wife is the That's why the wife is the brains of the relationship.
Yeah. I think that's a little crazy, but I'm not surprised this kind of stuff is happening. I heard Kanye West got money. All kinds of people got money from out of that thing. So, it's the way it goes.
Yeah, early on, I read an article about the whole stimulus thing, and people that made over $1 million a year got, I think it was like $100,000 or something like that. Because they needed to keep up with their level of income. I mean, if you're making $1 million a year, why the hell would you need a handout from the government? That's just ridiculous.
Exactly.
I make barely $50,000 a year, and I didn't even get a check.
Yeah,
so,
and a lot of small businesses out there that are really suffering because this thing went down. They didn't get any kind of relief from that. It's almost like the government wants them to go out of business. It's weird.
Exactly.
Yeah, Boss Hog says he used his money to pay bills. He's so responsible. Shame on you, Boss Hog, for being so responsible.
But let me ask you this.
I used what came here to pay bills too.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me ask you this. In what time has the government not used our money to fight against us anyway?
That's
So
the
I
whole
mean,
point,
it's just
right?
a normal situation.
Yeah.
Look at the NRA. They were doing it for years.
Yeah, I mean they're using our money when they take the money out of your paycheck, and then they tax you for this. But one, they take it out of people who get paychecks, get it immediately. Then they tax the living crap out of you, and then of course it's used against you every single day, man. The government works against you every single day. Let's see. Jerry Parker says Kanye West, Robert De Niro, Tim McGraw, and the list goes on. There you go. Lawrence Lerwick says, I use my money to survive. There you go. Nothing wrong with that.
No, definitely not. That's what it was designed for, so you could get by and pay the bills while we were waiting to get back to work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Appalachian Gun Runner says, I never got a stimulus check, and I made like $20K a year before I was laid off in February. Yeah. That's, that sucks.
Well, that kind of goes back to the whole unemployment thing too, because they were supposed to start rolling out all this unemployment, and some people got it and some people didn't. And some people really needed that unemployment, but they couldn't get it because they were last on the list, because their last name or their first name or their social security, however it falls, put them on that list. And because they were so overwhelmed with the amount of people that were out of work, they couldn't keep up with it. I mean, just like here in Virginia, I mean, they reported that there was over 12,000 people who are refusing to go back to work because they still believe that this virus is so deadly, and that if they go back to work, they're going to get it and they're going to die.
Yeah, okay, because they're getting probably $700-800 a month, a week. Like I'll admit, I was on unemployment before I decided not to go back to the dealership. You were making good money as long as everything kicked in, and like a lot of people are acting like that. You're gonna tell me right now that whoever you are, if someone is paying you upwards of $800, if you're smart enough to get the taxes taken out, if someone's paying you $800 a week not to go to work, how that's like a no-brainer, especially in today's society where everyone thinks they should just do it, just have it done for them. Like a lot of people are saying, oh yeah, they're afraid to go back to work. No, it's because you're getting $800 a week for not doing anything, playing Xbox.
I think there's a lot of stuff going on with that, right? I think there's people just straight up not going back to work. There's some people not going back to work on the books. There's lots of different things going on, but it's unfortunate. Like we cannot sustain that. We're just printing money to do that, so we can't sustain it. The fact that we're printing the money, that means that it doesn't mean anything. We're devaluing the money. So, Brick says that's about to get cut off. If you don't go back to work, you're about to lose your job. You're about to lose your job.
Exactly.
So,
and look at the waitresses and people that work in the bar industry. Like, I know in downtown Plymouth is a huge bar scene. There are hundreds of people, some maybe even thousands, of waitresses, bartenders, servers, kitchen staff. They're out of work. They're in final phase. They're not even opening the bars until they have a vaccine. Which, first of all, I'm not touching that vaccine with a 10-foot pole. But
we could go a long time before there is even such a thing as them pretending there's a vaccine.
So you got people that have mortgages on their house built in through their business to a bar or a restaurant or something like that. You got people who survive on tips or whatever it is in that type of industry that are trying to make a living and trying to survive, and now a government is telling them no, they can't do that. That's so bass-ackwards that the government thinks they could tell us, listen, we elect these officials, okay? It's not the other way around. We are the reason they're in office. They're not the reason we're here on this earth. So I have a huge issue with them saying, okay, you can't open this because of social distance or whatever the thing they want to say. Take into consideration that there are people out there that depend on going to work, whether it be in the bar scene or not, and saying there's phased openings. No, don't. You can't mess with people's livelihoods, and it's 100% wrong.
Yeah, at some point here, we're going to have to just take the risk. If you're out there right now, smash those thumbs ups, okay? I'd like to see those thumbs ups getting smashed out there. We appreciate that. Let's see. Kathleen Music Lover says, I got a stimulus refrigerator. Congratulations to you. That's always a good purchase. Florida Gun says, I bought an Arisaka and an Enfield with my stimulus check, plus ammo for them.
Nice.
Does that Arisaka have the mum on it?
Yeah. Is the mum boogered up, or is it actually nice?
Yeah, there you go. Surplus questions.
Yeah, anything that goes bang, I'm into, except revolvers and muzzle loaders.
Yeah. What are you into, G&G? Yeah, because I know you're a revolver guy, right?
Yeah, I got a few revolvers. I'd definitely like to have a whole hell of a lot more.
Yeah, that's sacrilege what he's saying, right?
Yeah,
like, how dare you put me on this show with this non-revolver owning
He's a heathen.
SOB.
No, I got two. I got a Heritage Rough Rider and I got a Smith & Wesson.
Don't try to backpedal right now.
I'm backpedaling. You go check my IG. You got all the revolver people.
That's some Massachusetts people for you. They backpedal a lot.
Okay, 817 LDS says, okay, let me ask all of you, your thoughts on the push for legalization of marijuana inspires some to get into firearms. I don't know how that happens. Is there potential for new safety applied knowledge? And he says part one. I guess that's like part one of the question. I'm not sure. But the thoughts is the push for a legalization of marijuana inspires some to get into firearms. How does that inspiring people? I don't understand that part of the question. Like, I understand there's a push for legalization. I'm fine with that, right? Personally, I think we have too many laws, and definitely we don't need drug laws out there. Except that I think that people who drive cars, do things like that while they're impaired, take other people's lives into their hands. That's obviously a problem. But I don't care about it. I don't understand how that's pushing people though to get into firearms. I don't know if you guys see a different side.
Yeah. I'm kind of torn. I'm not really I'm kind of not anti-pot, but it's almost like when you look at the people that push for marijuana legalization, and if they're saying it's pushing them to go towards firearms, it's maybe because, okay, marijuana is highly regulated, whether it's medicinal or medical, and now, there's like, all right, let's try and get into guns and understand their point of view, because I don't believe if you're under any influence, whether it be alcohol, marijuana, or what, you should not be in the hands of a firearm. It's plain and simple. And that's why it gets into, people do use marijuana for, anxiety, depression, or pain, cancer treatment, anything you can think of. But you should not be I don't think you should be a firearm anywhere in your possession, because as much as they say it helps, you are impaired. And that's my biggest gripe about it. Maybe the people that are trying to legalize marijuana are realizing that, firearms owners have been kicked to the side and highly infringed upon just as much as marijuana has, if not more.
Right, they can feel our pain.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
I think we're connecting the two, but I don't know if the two have anything to do with each other, except for the places where, if like Florida and other places, if you're using marijuana, then that could create a problem for you having access to your 2A rights, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, go ahead, G&G.
Because it's still federally illegal, and when you sign those little papers and you're answering those questions, it does ask you if you are a user of marijuana, does it not? So that right there automatically throws up that red flag. Hey, if I smoke weed and I have a firearm, where's that balance there? Even though it is legal, say in states like Massachusetts, where it's fully recreational legal, right? And I'm sure they still have the same questions on the forms as well, because not federally legal. So even at the state level, it has to be illegal to have a firearm and possess any kind of drug, even marijuana. Although marijuana to me is a very harmless drug. I mean, I got to tell you, when I was younger, there wasn't a day when I didn't have some.
Understood.
But I mean, and I had my experiences with it, and I can't say it's bad. I mean, it has a lot of good properties. It does good for people. But yes, I agree. At the same time, if you're using it, you shouldn't be using your firearms at the same time. Leave it for when you're at home relaxing and not about to do anything else.
Well, everything has a different effect on you, right? I think some things, and I don't really know anything about the effects of marijuana, other than contact smoke or whatever. I've never smoked it myself, so I don't know what it does. I know people out there say that it slows everything down, or makes you more cautious. I don't know if that's true. I think, and I don't know if that's a good thing or not.
Okay, it might make you a little more aware because of the fact that it's illegal. So you get a little bit of paranoia. So you're more aware of what's going on around you. Now, it does slow things down, but your reaction time will still be the same as far as it goes. I mean, as long as you're not like blasting away and just going overboard with it. I mean,
I mean, if you look at Joe Rogan, he says that it just makes you more mellowed out or something like that. It makes you like Shaggy, I guess.
Not me.
Yeah. So
I'll admit I did partake in high school. I had the worst experiences. So
everything reacts. Every chemicals react differently with different people.
Yeah.
I hallucinated. I was like, not happening.
Oh wow! I never even hallucinated off of LSD.
I didn't do that. I was more of a beer head.
Wow!
Yeah,
we're getting deep
I was
now.
A musician.
Okay.
Yeah, I was a musician back in my days up in Massachusetts, and I experimented a little bit.
Everyone does.
A little bit.
And just a little bit.
Yeah. Right.
That's why I say firearms saved my life, man. I suffer from anxiety and depression and stuff like that, and to me, owning a firearm is the ultimate responsibility, because you not only have the responsibility of that firearm, making sure you follow all the right rules and stuff like that, but also, do you want to be that one guy that ruins firearms ownership for a mass amount of people, whether it be state or country? Also, I respect the firearm itself anyway, just because that is a tool, but also there's a lot that comes with that tool. I feel if more people kind of really looked at it like that, ownership would be a lot more well known. Granted, we're just on a rise, which I am so happy for. Gun ownership is on the rise. We're not flattening this curve, and to that point though, if people looked at marijuana legalization at that point, maybe it would kind of be on the same rise. Again, everyone has their own opinion on it, but we're in terms of guns, let's not flatten that curve. Let's just keep buying and buying and buying.
Okay, go ahead, G&G. You got something you want to add here?
Yeah, I completely forgot because Jerry Parker said something. I was laughing at it.
Oh, okay.
But retracted
what did he? Oh, it's a private thing.
Yeah, he retracted it as soon as he put it up, and I just happened to catch it.
Yeah. Is it I try pot 2, 3, or 1,000 times? Yeah. So let's see.
Okay, I kind of remember what I was about to say. There's that slowness from the marijuana. No, I'm just kidding.
Let me see. Let's see here. So 817LDS had a follow-up here. He says, well, I consider staying at home getting my essentials for life. I consider staying alive. Many of people are still dying, and you think I just don't want to work. I'm not sure if that's addressed to anyone specific out there. Look, I think that people that are at risk and are worried about that should absolutely, stay home and do what they need to do. I don't think anything of it. I just think that the end result is we cannot just indefinitely go in this direction, right? People are, if you have a virus, it's gonna get out there. People are gonna get this thing one way or the other. It's never just gonna go away like that. And even if this goes away, something else is going to come up, and we ultimately can't keep shutting everything down. And the percentage of people that are getting sick and the percentage of people that are dying is just not high. It's terrible that there's people getting sick, and it's even worse and horrible that people are dying from it. But ultimately, if we shut down everything that's going on, and we don't move forward and we don't produce, we will all suffer for that.
Oh, indeed.
This damn thing ruined my Disney vacation.
Yeah, to kind of further your point with that, and it's getting kind of hard to get some people to wake up to what's happening with this, because you have all these so-called scientists or medical professionals coming out there and making some pretty outlandish statements, like you got to shut off your air conditioning because you're going to get the virus if you keep your air conditioning running. I mean, if heat kills the virus, how's it certainly going to sneak in through your air conditioning and get you in your house? Now, if a cloth mask or a dust mask will stop the virus, then how is it going to get past the filtration you have in your units in your house? So, I mean, again, where's that level of nonsense to, reality and actually thinking for yourself and questioning authority? There's none out there. A lot of people have just fallen into that rift of going, oh, well, they said, and so it's got to be true. I mean, yes, sure, the virus is real. I think it's definitely way overpumped for what it is. Because if this virus was as dangerous and as deadly as have you ever seen what a virologist wears when they're in there studying viruses? They wear a supplied air hazmat suit, and the supplied air comes from a whole nother room. So now if this virus was half as bad as they say it was, or is, do you think a little dust mask that's made to keep particles in the air coming from you, or a surgical mask is going to prevent any of that from getting into you? No, it's not.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. There's always going to be viruses and things like that in the environment, and we can't all live in spacesuits. We just can't do it. We can't do it. We're going to have to run the risk of people getting sick. Now, I think with the air conditioning thing, I'm not 100% sure what you're saying there, but yeah, things can get up in the air conditioning and travel around, and I think it's heat and sunlight. Mostly the sunlight is killing it, but not necessarily things in the air conditioning. But what's bringing it in there is you. What's bringing it into rooms into an environment is you. I think that the thing with the mask is that they're trying to cut it down a little bit, but they know it's not 100% effective, right? So it's just like how Fauci was saying in the beginning, no, you don't need the mask. They did think that people need the mask, that's what he's saying, but they didn't think they had enough, so they were like, oh, you don't need it, because they didn't want everyone to panic and go, oh, what's going on, where's my mask? And then there was like a massive run on masks, and everyone was getting crazy. So now they're saying that you need the mask, and you have to realize how that keeps getting pushed down, that they realize what you're saying, they can't put everyone in spacesuits, so like, hey, listen, just wear the masks out there, hoping that that's going to stop something, when ultimately we cannot do that. Those things are just not effective for a lot of different reasons, right? And if you're around people enough, it's going to happen no matter how much you wear the mask and all that kind of stuff. You're going to get sick. It's just one of these things that what they're trying to do is manage us and use the placebo effect on us and not have us get all crazy and upset and out there. Although at the same time, things happened in the world, and we had a lot of people get really mad and start burning everything down. So, yeah.
Yep.
Let's see. Flying Rich gave us a couple of bucks here. He says, Hank, can Joe come shoot at the hacienda? I don't know what Joe Flying Rich is talking about, so we're going to move on from that one. I think he
wants me to come shoot with him at the hacienda.
Yeah, Lola, I don't know if you heard that. Lola
Yeah,
just said
exactly.
any shooting at the hacienda needs to go through her. And listen, if I'm going to invite someone to come Flying Rich, I'll do that. So don't try to set me up. You guys are 100% welcome to get together on your own and go shooting somewhere. You know, I don't think Flying Rich needs the hacienda to do any shooting either. So, how well do you know this Flying Rich man? He's getting you into a lot of
I know.
he's getting you
I
into
actually
a lot of trouble here.
You know what, Hank? It's ironic because Richard is. I talk to him almost every other day.
Have you ever met him?
Nope.
Oh.
We were actually supposed to go.
So you don't
to,
know he's crazy then? That's what you're saying.
Oh no! Listen.
Have you looked into those googly eyes? Do you realize?
You know what? He's one of the. I think one of the nicer people I've met in the YouTube community.
Okay.
You know,
he's cool.
He's
all right. He's 100% batshit crazy though. I'm just.
Hey, we're all great. We're all a little crazy. We've all flown cuckoo's nest once or twice.
Right. Some of us are crazier than others, though.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that.
Especially the people that think Coming to America is a bad movie. You know, it's great to have friendships though through this whole thing, and Richard is one of them.
Okay. Yeah. You know, your mom warned you about the crazy chicks, but she never warned you about the crazy dudes, huh? That's all I can say.
Yeah.
That's all I could say. That's all I could say. No, listen, I think it is cool that we have this and we have people that we could communicate with and do things. And I'm sure at some point here we'll all meet up and we'll do something, you know. But just know this, that Flying Rich is not the czar of who shoots on the hacienda. So that's all. That's all Lola's job. And as a matter of fact, he might get banned. Yeah, he might get banned. Yeah, Lola's right now checking a box. Like, okay, Flying Rich. He's checking a box.
He's on the naughty list, huh?
Yeah.
I said before, I'm just humble enough to be allowed on this podcast. I'm very happy. Thank you for these having.
No, absolutely. You're welcome.
Y'all for inviting me on. I mean, it was a big surprise to me last night when she sent me the email. I was like, yeah, sure, man, I'm coming. I'm there.
Yeah. I almost invited Rich, and I was like, oh my God, I can't deal with that much. I don't know if I want to put, you know, I'm going to have to take a lot of headache pills after that. We could have had a real party. We could have had a real party going, but, you know, let's see here. Len Holt says, everyone knows the imperial leader of Fraz is just a normal guy. Okay. All right. He's totally normal. Totally normal. And Brick says, who said Coming to America is a bad movie? That's cinema gold. Yeah, who said that? Did someone say it's a bad movie?
I've heard some people say
Wait,
it's a bad
hold
movie.
on. Did Flying Rich say that?
My wife being one of them.
Oh, your wife? Oh.
No, he did not say that. My wife said that.
Oh, she says it's a bad movie? Oh, wow. I'm not going to get into that conversation with your wife. Just to say, anyone who thinks it's a bad movie...
You're breaking up to me, damn.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Uh-oh, YouTube isn't liking us.
No, we're good. We're good.
Yeah, I can hear you.
We're good, yeah. Yeah, we were talking...
Everyone's... All right, good.
We're talking about, you know, I don't want to...
All right, good.
Yeah, I don't want to disparage your wife or anything like that, but she obviously doesn't know anything about movies. Here's my advice. Don't let her pick the movies.
Well, listen, I want your opinion. Have you seen the movie The Patriot with Mel Gibson?
Mel Gibson. Yeah, that's an old movie. Right? You never saw that movie, G&G? He's shaking his head.
Yeah. Have you seen it? Did you like it?
Did I like it? I saw it a long time ago. I thought it was a good movie. I thought it was a good movie. I don't remember. I just remember seeing it one time. You think it's Yeah. I think out of Mel, I don't know. Let me see. What's Mel Gibson's best movies, though? Let's see. Let's think about that for a second. What are the best movies with Mel Gibson in it?
They got to be Lethal Weapon, man.
Oh, that's true. Okay, the Lethal Weapon's
good. Good gun movie.
Yeah, I was thinking Mad Max, but you're right. Lethal Weapon. Are we gonna do for Mel Gibson? Are we gonna say that Lethal Weapon 1 to 4 was all good, or
But they were
Lethal
still
Weapon 2.
Lethal 2? Okay.
Yeah, Lethal 2. After that, it just kind of fell off.
Okay. What were you saying, G&G?
I said they might not be top notch all the way across the board, but they're still entertaining.
Yeah. It's if you could watch it today, then I think it stands up, right? So I know I recently watched them because I think they had them all on Netflix or something like that. So let's see, what else did Mel Gibson do that was good? I'm just trying to
he did a movie, Ransom. Ransom was a good one where like his kid got kidnapped.
I think I saw that. What was the one?
Braveheart was a really good movie.
Which one?
Braveheart.
Braveheart.
Yeah, Braveheart. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Braveheart's good. Let me see. Let's see who are people saying. Let's see. I'm waiting for you guys. Brick says in that movie Mel Gibson had the tomahawk. I remember that scene. That's the scene where he throws the tomahawk at one guy, takes that guy out. Then he runs up and takes that tomahawk and throws it at another guy. You know, I think he's just like running from guy to guy, picking up tomahawks and throwing them. I've never seen that in a movie, so I got to get that. The Patriot. Let's see. Payback. Chris Bullis says Payback. I'm trying to think of what were the. He did Mad Max. Thunderdome. Yeah. Thunderdome was my favorite Mad Max movie with Mel Gibson in it because it had Tina Turner.
You know. Well, what about The Road Warrior? I mean, that was a classic.
It was all right. It was classic. Yes, it's a classic. It was okay. All I like it was just say 8-we a pair. That's my fun. That's my funny line. But Mel, I'm trying to think. Was there a horrible Mel Gibson movie? What's the worst Mel Gibson movie? Let's think about that.
I can't really think.
Yeah.
I was always a Mel Gibson fan.
What's the name of the Mel Gibson movie that had Julia Roberts, where like Mel Gibson was crazy or something in it? Do you remember that?
Oh yeah. I forget the name of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't say I've seen all his movies, so.
Yeah. Oh, Conspiracy Theory. There you go. Appalachian Gunrunner says, "I'm telling you, Conspiracy Theory." With Julia Roberts. I think that was, that was decent. American Freedom Outdoors says Mel Gibson movie. We Were Soldiers. I don't know if I ever saw that one. Signs. Someone says Signs.
Yeah.
Someone says What Women Want.
Yeah.
What Women Want. Flying Rich says The Last V8.
I didn't care for that one.
What the hell is The Last V8? I never even heard of that.
Is that like the drink, the tomato juice drink? It was the last one in the refrigerator or something, I guess.
I have no idea. Yeah, so, I don't think Mel Gibson is really... I'm trying to think of if he's really made a horrible movie. Because we could probably go from there. But I don't think Mel Gibson ever made like a really, really, really terrible, horrible movie that I could think of. He might have done some crazy stuff. So... There we go. But, okay, I don't know if that settled anything, though.
Definitely crazy.
Yeah.
Definitely crazy.
Yeah. We Were Soldiers was excellent. I can't remember if I don't think I ever saw that. Night Train says, isn't that Catcher in the Rye? I don't think he ever made a movie called Catcher in the Rye. Conspiracy Theory had something to do with Catcher in the Rye, but there you go. And Kermit Loves Bacon says, We Were Soldiers is hella good. So there you go. And John Voorhees says We Were Soldiers was a Vietnam War film, good. And Flying Rich says Line from the Road Warrior. Okay, there you go. So I don't know. I think Mel Gibson's decent. I don't know how we got on movies. So anyone who thinks that Coming to America was a bad movie is not allowed to choose movies. That's my policy.
I'll tell you, one of my favorite movies when I was a kid growing up, and I don't know if you've ever seen it, but it's a movie called The Last Dragon.
The Last Dragon, yeah. I know what that is. Yeah.
Never seen it.
The Last Dragon. That's a Berry Gordy movie, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it had Vanity in there. Yeah, Show Enough. That guy who was in Show Enough, I saw him in something. You know what? I was looking at The Adventures of Briscoe County Jr. And the guy who played Show Enough in that was in The Adventures of Briscoe County. But yeah, The Last Dragon was a good movie. I like that mostly because it has Vanity. And I thought like Vanity was, when I was younger, man, that was like the perfect chick. You know, as far as I'm concerned. I'm over that, Lola. I'm over. Don't worry about it. You know, but anyway.
I just liked it because the whole mysticism behind
Right.
kung fu and
Yeah.
stuff, you know,
Yeah.
with the glow and everything. You know,
Yeah.
it's like the
You liked
magic
when he did
coming
all
out
his
of-
hands did all this.
Man, I love that shit, man. I mean, I was always a big fan of martial arts
Yeah.
when I was a kid.
Bruce
growing
Leroy.
up.
Boss Hogg says Leroy. He was. I think they called him Bruce Leroy.
Yes, Bruce Leroy.
Yeah, you never
Catching
saw-
bullets with his teeth.
You never saw that movie? Never. You never saw that movie? It's
Nah, I never saw it. I might.
Yeah, you got to look that up. That's a when did that movie come out? 90s maybe?
Actually, I think it was the 80s.
Was it the 80s?
Maybe late 80s.
Late 80s,
yeah.
yeah. And Armament and Axis says, did anyone ever see the Mel Gibson movie Bloodfather? No. But he says Vanity was hot. Yeah, Vanity was Vanity was the bomb, man. Vanity was the bomb, you know.
Yeah, DC2 Mega Boost knows what I'm talking about because for a while his little thumbnail icon there was show enough.
Yeah, DC2 Mega Boost says Gorillas and Guns catches bullets with his teeth. And American Freedom Outdoors says another good set of movies from Eddie Murphy was Beverly Hills Cop. I don't know how we're getting into Oh, okay, well, because Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy has made some bad movies. That's not even a question.
Yes.
That's it. I like Eddie Murphy, but he's made some terrible movies.
I loved The Golden Child. That was a great movie.
That's awesome.
Well, are you a fan of his stand-up comedy?
I liked his. I haven't seen him do anything lately, but I liked the stand-up comedy movies that he did. I didn't like his appearance recently on Saturday Night Live. I thought that kind of fell flat.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
didn't like that either.
Yeah, but Golden Child, one of my favorite movies ever. One of my favorite movies ever. Eddie Murphy actually hates that movie.
Really?
Yeah. But it's one of my favorite movies. I quote it all the time.
He-
Brother Noopsy has forgiven me. You know, Charles Dance was in that.
Brother Doops.
Yeah.
I want
The knife. Yeah. Golden Child is classic, but he doesn't. It's weird. He doesn't like it. You know. But I think Eddie Murphy. He did a lot of like the first Beverly Hills movies. I think like 1 and 2 were good. And then I think it got... Where did it get bad? Did it go to 4? Beverly Hills Cop didn't go to 4, right? It went to 3 or something like that.
Yeah, I think 3 was the last one.
Yeah, the one
Yeah.
where they were in like fake Disneyland, that was terrible. Yeah, but he's made some really, really good movies. Someone says, Chris Bullis says Norbit. Norbit is funny, but it's also sad.
Norbit was funny.
It's sad. It's funny and it's sad to see poor Norbit get abused. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's Eddie Murphy's done some good movies. My favorite Eddie Murphy movie right now is Bowfinger. Did you guys ever see that?
I'm not sure if I've seen that. It doesn't sound
It's a
familiar.
movie about making movies.
No,
Yeah, you didn't see it?
my favorite was Adventures of Pluto Nash.
What? Is that seriously? Is that a joke or is that
Yeah,
for
no, I
reals?
love that movie.
Okay.
No, it's not a joke. I love that movie.
Why did you like Adventures of Pluto Nash so much?
I don't know. I watched it when I was a kid, and it's just something me and my dad watched, and we thought it was hilarious. And then it's one of my favorites. Then I liked him in Mr. Church. That was a really good one. That was more of a recent one he did.
Yeah, I don't think I ever saw that. By the way, here's someone sending me a gun. Boom, there you go. That's Edward. That's from Edward Andrews. And here's his caption on that. He says, store your sling properly. It will prevent the spread of the coronavirus. So there you go. I thought he was sending me a meme with that, but he was obviously sending me a gun. Yeah, Pluto Nash. Guess what? Listen, Joe, you also cannot pick the movies. So in your home, neither one of you should pick the movies. You all need to call out for assistance.
I'll text you from now on, Hank. Be like, Hank, is this a good movie?
Yeah.
Do you recommend this?
Yeah, you all need assistance. Okay, let me see. Someone says Dolomite. Dolomite was good. Boss Hog says Dolomite. Brick says Dolomite. I thought that was good. Let me see. And then someone says that let's see. Don't forget the Nutty Professor. That was it was good. It was good.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, Nutty Professor. Ooh, look at that.
Nutty
Nice.
Professor. Yeah. Coming to America. Trading Places. Trading Places is a classic. That's a classic American movie right there. And Len Holt says Bowfinger was hilarious. You guys have to watch Bowfinger. It's a really good like Hollywood movie about Hollywood. Eddie Murphy plays a star in there, and he's involved in this cult kind of religion thing that's a lot like Scientology. Actually, it's exactly Scientology that they're going after in that thing. But it's just really funny. It's like about making movies and low budget stuff, and it has. What's his name? Martin. Steve Martin. Has Steve Martin in it. So I think that's the only time that Eddie Murphy and Steve Martin have ever done a movie. And you know that's classic. Come on, Steve Martin. You know?
Yeah. Steve Martin. He's great, man.
Yeah.
He's a damn good banjo player, man.
Yeah. Steve Martin is a funny guy. What's the name of the movie that Steve Martin was in where he had the big nose?
Oh yeah, that was Roxanne.
Roxanne. That's also a
where
good
he's
movie.
the fire chief with the huge nose. Yeah.
Also a good movie. You know. So there you go. Someone said Dr. Dolittle. Dr. Dolittle is on the end of the spectrum of Eddie Murphy movies.
Well, you could technically consider Shrek as a Eddie Murphy movie.
Yeah, but those were good.
Because he was the donkey.
Yeah, at least the first one or two were good out of those. You know, I could give some respect for the first one of those. Okay, so let's talk about someone who we give no respect to, but for some reason is impervious to all things in the world and keeps ticking. I don't know if you guys saw this, but this was breaking right before we started. Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg hospitalized for possible infection. So Ruth Bader Ginsburg was hospitalized Tuesday for possible infection. The justice, 87, received treatment after experiencing fever and chills. The justice is resting comfortably and will stay in the hospital for a few days to receive intravenous antibiotic treatment. Court spokesperson Kathleen Arberg said in a statement. So yeah, that's interesting right there, man. She's not giving up, man. She's tough. Those Democrats are tough, man.
I was gonna say, is this gonna be the one that kills her? Like,
I don't think so. She's not human. She's not human. Right now, they're pumping the lifeblood out of some teenager into her in a hospital somewhere to keep her going for another whatever amount of time. I just don't think she's normal. So, Len Holt said
she's on some
Huh?
Sorry, I was gonna say she's on some next level Illuminati stuff right there.
Yeah, absolutely. Len Holt said saw the trailer and the new Bill and Ted looks bad to me. I don't know. I like Keanu Reeves. I like the Bill and Ted movies. I hope it's not stupid, but who knows? There's no way. And Len Holt also says RBG is a cyborg. So, you know, without a doubt. Now, you know what? I got to talk about this. I don't know where the pictures are here, but before, actually last night after I got off air, there was all this stuff that I saw about Ford coming out with the Bronco. We were talking about guns and the early part of this. I'm sorry, not about guns. We're talking about cars. You know, have you guys had a chance to see the new Bronco?
Yeah, I saw early, because I remember when we were at the dealership, I saw early photos of the Bronco, and I don't know if I haven't seen if there's any new pictures, but at one point it looked like a Jeep Rubicon that was elongated. And no, a Renegade. I'm sorry, it looked like a Renegade that was like stretched out and lifted up.
Yeah, I think it looks good, man. From what I'm seeing of the pictures out there, I think the new Bronco looks really good. There's a 2-door version, 4-door version. It's really fully modular. I don't know, man. The stats, this thing might actually be better than a Jeep Wrangler. So, that's interesting.
I'm looking at it right now. It's pretty neat
Yeah.
looking.
I'm liking what I'm seeing out there.
It should be cheaper than a Wrangler.
I'm not sure if it's going to be cheaper. I think it's probably going to be in that like same price category of the Wrangler. But I am liking what I'm seeing out there. So Joe, what you're not a Ford guy. I'm taking it.
Nah, I'm not really the big. I drove a Ford Explorer for years, and that thing was the biggest lemon I've ever had in my life. I was always a Chevy guy. My first car was a 1986 Chevy S10 Blazer, the 2-door, 2-wheel drive, and I customized it to hell and back, painted it, lowered it to the ground, put one of those annoying subwoofer systems in there because I thought I was gangster, and then I unfortunately wrapped it around my pole. I wrapped it around a pole my first winter, and I have yet to find that same year. But no, I've never really been a Ford guy.
Yeah. What were you saying, G&G?
Oh, when?
Yeah, I think you were saying something about it. About
the Ford.
The Bronco,
That it looks pretty good. I mean, I like the way it looks. It definitely still kind of has a little bit of that classic style, but there's something else it reminds me of, and I want to say it kind of looks like a Honda Element on steroids.
Really? I don't think that's good. I don't think that's that's not a good thing. Night Train says it's the OJ Mobile. Boss Hog wants to know if it'll have diesel. I don't think so. I think it's going to be a 4-cylinder and a V6, probably both turbos. And Brick says it looks like a Rover had a baby. DC2 says the Bronco looks like a short school bus. Man, you guys, I thought it looks good.
Yeah, I like the styling of it. It does look pretty cool. But like I said, just there's something about the front end of it. Just the shape of that front end just kind of made me think of that Honda Element for some reason.
Yeah, that squared off thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it looks better to me than the new Land Rover, not Discovery. The what is it? The Defender looks better than the new Defender, I think. And it looks way more modular and all that kind of stuff, which is cool. But we'll see how it's received. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the Land Rovers. I don't like. The seat sits up way too high in them. I mean, they're okay, but just not my favorite vehicle.
Yeah, I'm still gonna be waiting for the Cybertruck. I'm still waiting. I'm gonna hold my fire for the Cybertruck when the Cybertruck.
Speaking of Tesla, have you seen the 2020 Roadster?
Did they put out something lately? Because I've seen pictures of it, but
no, just those pictures. But yeah, that's a pretty cool looking car.
Yeah, I think it looks kind of. It doesn't look as exciting as it could look.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
It's the original model has more of a sportier kind of, I guess you might say, like a Ferrari mixed with a Pantera type look to it. But yeah, it's the new one's still a cool looking car. It's nice and curvy, aerodynamic looking. It still looks sporty, but it's just, I would say, more on the conservative side of sporty.
Yeah, I think a lot of cars are starting to look the same now with aerodynamics, basically. That's what we're getting. Mr.
We work a lot of Teslas at work where I work at, so.
Oh, really? Okay. Mr. Saving the Day says Sasquatch trim package, laugh out loud. Yeah, there's going to be a bunch of crazy trim packages out there for that thing, so it's going to be interesting to see those when they come out and if they're actually off-roadable and all that kind of stuff. I think it looks. I saw TFL truck comparing it to the 4Runner and the Wrangler. It's definitely going to be better than the 4Runner, which I like. I've had those. They're just like they haven't changed the styling in ever. I think the 4Runners look like that for 20 years, or at least 15 years or something at this point. And then the Wrangler obviously is the who everyone's trying to beat. But I think this might look better, huh?
Then you got that Wrangler truck, the Gladiator. When I was selling Jeeps, everyone wanted the Gladiator, but then they got in their Gladiator pricing. They were like, nope, I don't want that.
Yeah. And then the thing is, I think that so they're not going to have a V8, but I think that Wrangler is coming out with a V8. So
from what we heard.
Yeah, from what we'll see. So we'll see. At some point, we'll get more stuff. All right, look, we're over 9:00. We got here, so we'll let the people go here. But first, let's tell them how they can support you guys. I'll start with Shooting Gallery NE. How can the folks out there support you? I'll try to throw up your YouTube channel here while you're talking. I'll throw that up for them.
You can support me by subscribing to Shooting Gallery NE on YouTube. We're having a 250 subscriber giveaway. Once we get to 250, the lucky winner is going to get a victory trigger from Tandem Cross for a Mark IV target pistol. You can check us out on Instagram at Shooting Gallery New England, all one word. We're also on Powler, Facebook. We're now on Patreon. I just made a Patreon. I'm actually releasing a video tomorrow about why I made the Patreon. It's patreon.com/Shooting Gallery NE.
All right, awesome. And let's go to Gorillas and Guns. How can the folks support you out there?
Same. They can come see me over here on YouTube at Gorillas and Guns. I have a Patreon. Not really. Don't really do much. I got 2 patrons.
Okay, you need more, man. That's all. We got to get more people over
for sure. And right now, I am also doing a giveaway for my 1,000 subscriber 1K giveaway. I got a stripped upper receiver from Machining, which is in your neck of the woods, there, Hank. They're down there in.
Very nice. Gorilla Machining. That how does that happen?
Yeah, Gorilla
that
Machining.
Works out.
Gorillas are working together. Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of made that by design there. So I got that upper I'm giving away. So as soon as I hit 1,100 subscribers, because I started the giveaway a little late because the whole 1K thing kind of caught me by surprise. So I started the giveaway a little. So yeah, there's a video out there on it. If you go over the video, there's something special you got to do to enter the giveaway. So if you go over there and subscribe and you get in the giveaway, you'll be telling me something very nice.
Oh, okay.
So that's and then I got the Facebook group page, the Gorillas and Guns group page, which Hank's a member of. I'm not sure if I got Joe in there yet or not, but we'll get him in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we share a lot of good 2A news around there on that on the Facebook group, man. And we're all about supporting the 2A and making sure everybody around the country is as informed about what's going on as they can possibly be. So, other than that, I'm just doing my thing, trying to get Virginia back into the 2A, good spot again.
Yeah, into the fold.
Yep.
Make Virginia America again.
That's right. We got to do it. I mean, with all those people that showed up on lobby day, man. I mean, that right there had definitely better tell America, the 2A is important. So.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I want to thank you guys for tuning here. Thanks to all the folks out there for tuning in. Make sure you go support these guys. I'm going to drop put it up on iTunes or anywhere else that you can listen to your podcast. Big thanks to Franklin Armory for sponsoring the show. We really appreciate that. Make sure you go check out Shooting Gallery NE, which stands for New England. There you go. As well as Gorillas and Guns. You can check them out on Facebook in that group or on the YouTube channel. Subscribe to these guys. Get involved. And thanks so much. We will see you guys tomorrow. Who wants the last word? No, nobody wants to.
We can give it.
Yes,
all right, everybody. Thanks for watching.
We're out of here. See ya. Peace.
Have a good